Our team, our community. This is CondorsTown, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
Hope you're recovering from the turkey coma as we are once again back with another edition of your Energy Condors Connection. What up? It's Erik Fox from Energy 95.3 on the other side of the screen, joined every single Tuesday, 10 a.m. with Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. Have you recovered from your turkey coma?
I'm good. I'm not a huge turkey guy.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was on your table for Thanksgiving this year?
Turkey, but I go for more ham on that.
All right.
If I'm listing meats, like turkey's 9th or 10th.
Wow.
Like, why couldn't the Pilgrims have ribeyes? Like,
fair enough. A nice medium rare steak is what you need for your Thanksgiving.
I mean, and if we're being honest here, like I'd go a lot of fishes over turkey.
Oh, fair enough. Well, you got, at least on my end, I've had turkey nonstop since last Thursday, so I'm ready for something different.
You're one of the guys that like make sandwiches and stuff afterwards.
Yep. Did the open face, covered it with some leftover stuffing, and oh, that's so good stuff right there.
Now stuffing, now I can get behind, but now I like sausage stuffing. My in-laws.
That's what we have. We had sausage stuffing.
My in-laws make bread stuffing, which it's fine.
Anyways, instead of your Energy Condors connection, is the Energy Bash and Turkey connection here.
I just think the Pilgrims needed to get some better.
Well, they also needed blades on their feet and finding frozen ponds, but they didn't do that either. But that's the transition point we got as we finally start talking about hockey here after 2 minutes of just blabbing. As we always do, we talk about both the local team, of course, your Bakersfield Condors, but also talk about the Edmonton Oilers. A little week for them, winning the last two. Are we starting to see a turnaround with the team?
Yeah, you forgot who they beat on Sunday.
We can pass that.
They beat the Anaheim Ducks, which also I would take Duck over Turkey. Anyways, the Oilers are turning the corner. I think McDavid was 110th in scoring going into the weekend. He finished the week in scoring at 13th. So he's having a down year, and he's a top 10 scorer in the league. So, he had 9 points in 2 games. They've I've been telling you that the underlying numbers would suggest that some teams were on the high end of the luck scale, and some teams were on the low end of the luck scale. The Oilers were certainly on the low end of the luck scale. If you looked at what, the computers would say your record would be at a certain point, the Oilers were way below that. So usually, again, anybody who plays fantasy football knows it doesn't necessarily happen that way, but usually those numbers tend to even out. Vegas was extremely lucky early in the year, and now they're coming down to earth a little bit. Vancouver the same way. And then the Oilers were, on the bottom end of the luck scale, and now everything's starting to even out. Now, they dug a pretty big hole. There's still a lot of runway left, and the good news is the bottom half of the playoff for the Western Conference is not as highly competitive as the bottom half of the Eastern side. So right. There is a runway. I think Calgary has the final playoff spot right now, and they're under 500. So you got to figure, the Oilers will be in the mix here. I think I looked at their playoff percentages earlier this week. It was still at like 44%. That's still like a team that hasn't found its stride that, people are still expecting to. Great to see James Hamlin get a couple of goals. It's a great story for us, great story for him, great find for the organization. A guy who was undrafted, unheralded, goes up last year, makes his NHL debut, plays 10 games for the Oilers, scores a couple of goals this year. He's an Edmonton kid, grew up an Oilers fan. It's just a great story for everybody involved. So hopefully he can keep it going, and hopefully the Oilers can keep it going.
Let's talk about the big hurdle for them tonight. They're taking on Vegas, which is top in the Pacific right now. You said Vegas, obviously, they are having a little slowdown right now, but they are still a powerhouse. They got a strong lineup to be facing.
Yeah, they've lost 7 of 10. They lost last night in Calgary. They haven't scored goals, I think. That's maybe the one drawback of them, but, that's a strong team, regardless. But you get a team on the back end of the back-to-back, which, sometimes favors Edmonton, sometimes favors Calgary, right? Like teams always go up there and play back to back. It just depends on, where you end up falling. And, the Oilers have the benefit of the schedule tonight. And when you have the benefit of the schedule and you're playing a team that, right now is statistically better than you, this is an opportunity. We saw the Oilers, win in Washington and beat Anaheim, right? Those are two non-playoff teams, right? Those are teams that aren't making the playoffs. Like Washington's had a nice little start. They're not making the playoffs. So can the Oilers, start beating teams that are on par with where they should be or where they want to be, moving forward, because that's how you gain ground. So we'll see what happens tonight.
Let's go and jump on talking about the local end, because obviously everything up there happens to affect us locally. But let's first talk about amazing weekend, a record-setting weekend with the Teddy Bear toss.
Yeah, great crowd. We had almost 9,000 people here. It was packed to the gills, and great atmosphere. I think anybody who was here had a great time. And we had a couple of miscues on the early tosses. I think some Bears. Some Bears hit the ice early. Thankfully, we didn't get a penalty for it, but it was probably pretty close.
Mr.
There was
Mike
one
Hart
near miss that, the puck ended up going in, but it was, goaltender interference before it. So I can't really fault too many people for that one. But, great scene. We collected almost 7,000 Bears, for local charity with the United Way. Just a fun night. It's, the biggest goal of the year. Matvei Petrov gets it, and, it was his first pro goal. Think about, your first pro goal scored in front of, 9,000 people and all the Bears come down. I mean, that's pretty cool. And his dad was here, and his dad's only seen him a couple of times. Matvei's from Russia and has spent the last 4 years over here in Canada and now in the U.S. here in Bakersfield. And, Matvei's dad hasn't been able necessarily to get over and see him. So, he picked a great week, really, really special story, and, a great goal and a highlight he'll have for the rest of his life.
Really great crowd, and I love how Mike Hart had to pretty much tell everyone, do not throw the Bears yet.
Very the line of "you'll know when the goal is scored" because of the horn is pretty. It was pretty funny. So thankfully we didn't pick up a penalty. Thankfully everything went okay, and it was a fun night.
Well, let's talk about the outcome over the last week since we last talked. It's been a split. Got blanked out Henderson, but obviously Coachella Valley had our number this past Saturday. What were you seeing with both those games?
Yeah, came down to a special teams contest right in the third period. The Condors had a power play, had a breakaway at the end of it, couldn't score. Coachella Valley gets a power play, and they end up scoring. And that's, when you have teams evenly matched, like the Condors and like Coachella Valley, those are the differences, right? And we saw it on Tuesday with Henderson, right? One power play goal with Raphael Lavoie was the difference, and that was it. And a 2-0 win. We added the empty netter at the end of it. But, these are one-goal games. These are teams that aren't separated by much, and it's those little plays that are going to make the difference at the end of it. Right now, the Condors are a little bit of offensive funk. They don't really have underlying numbers in the American Hockey League, but just from the eye test, there's some, guys and some players up front who, you look at the resumes, you look at the pedigree, would suggest that there's a lot more scoring in them, coming forward. Guys like Xavier Bourgault, Lane Peterson, Drake Tjula, guys who, have had 20 goals, 15 goals, 25 goals in their careers at this level. There's more to tap in. So, I think the offense comes. What I do like is that the defense has been consistent. Our goals against is, still top 5 in the league, and that's with a couple of outlying games too. So you're seeing a consistent effort over 12 games, and now we're in the brunt of our schedule, right? 3 games this week, back-to-back next week. 2 more 3-game weeks in December. Like, now we're hitting it. January is jam full. So, it's time to make some ground here, and, we're going to play a lot of games.
Well, let's talk about the games coming up for the next week. We have we're facing Henderson again, which during the COVID era, it just felt like that was the only team we ever played. So we're seeing them yet again coming up tomorrow. But also we got a back-to-back. It's going to be, I think, kind of a tough one. Texas Stars are coming to town, and they are tearing up things up right now. What are you seeing as we prep for the next 3 games?
Yeah, it's funny. We play Henderson this week, and then we don't play them until we get them once after Christmas and then 4 times after March. So it's kind of front loaded and back loaded. I think we play San Jose and San Diego at some point this year. I'd like to play them, at some point, but. Texas is a strong team out of the Central. That's a team that won the division last year in the regular season. We'll see them 4 times here over the next couple of months. And, it's great to step out of the division. Texas is a team that, they're good at the NHL level and they're good at the AHL level.
Right.
This is how, I think the Oilers envision things this year as well, too. So should be two good teams this weekend. We get $2 beers on Friday. That's always fun. And $5 Nick Cap Saturday because it is getting chilly in CondorsTown, and we don't have heat in the office right now, so we could use a couple of knit caps. But it's another fun weekend. We get New Jerseys next weekend. Plenty of games around the holidays too, so no excuses for the Condors on the ice or off the ice here in the next couple of weeks.
Let's go and talk about tomorrow's game. Is not in town. It is in the other side of the border.
I gotta get on the bus here. I just realized I gotta get on the bus here in a couple hours. We're going to Hendertucky over in Vegas proper, and we'll pop in there tonight, watch some hockey tonight, and then get set for a game tomorrow night against the Knights. And they lost. They split with Tucson this weekend. They won in overtime on Sunday. They're a team that doesn't give up much. I think we've done a nice job limiting their offense, but they're kind of built like us a little bit. They're not the fleetest of foot. They're not the fastest team. They're not the quickest team. But they find ways to get, pucks in the back of the net, and they're a strong team. So, I think, over the course of the season, I think the Condors end up catching the Henderson, but you got to start winning these games.
Well, let's talk about checking out the game at the Dollar Loan Center. People can't make the trip. What do they got to do?
AHL TV. Puck drops at 7 tomorrow night.
And of course, Friday and Saturday, we got a back-to-back with Texas in town. So get your spurs on, get your boots on, and how do people check that game out?
Fun starts at 15. We'll show who has the best barbecue, whether it's Bakersfield or Austin. I don't know. Well, it's technically Cedar Park. It's not Austin. It's like the Taft of Austin, I guess, if you will. Texas in town this weekend. $2 beers Friday, $5 Nick Caps on Saturday. $2 beers, Bud Light Seltzer, and Mick Ultra through the end of the first intermission. So from 6 o'clock through, let's call it 7:45.
There we go. Check it out this weekend. Condors, the Baco Birds are taking on Texas, so get your tickets now. And, of course, AHL TV to go check out the game tomorrow night from the Dollar Loan Center. Wow,
it's actually, and the website's don'tgobroke.com.
The jokes write themselves. We'll just leave it with that. Ryan Holt for the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Every single week, we get you caught up on all things CondorsTown right here with your Energy 95.3 Condors connection. We'll catch you next week.